Welcome to the Filmcast review of Send Help, the newest film by Sam Raimi. I'm going to read the plot summary from IMDb. An employee and her insufferable boss become stranded on a deserted island, the only survivors of a plane crash. Here they must overcome past grievances and work together to survive. But will they make it out alive? Question mark. End quote. Well, Devindra Hardawar, I would say you're probably the biggest Sam Raimi fan on the podcast. Jeff Kanata, maybe a close second.
Yeah, pretty big.
But I have to say, it's pretty amazing that he is still working. Like he's relevant. He's still making stuff after having produced some of the biggest superhero films / comic book films of the 2000s.
Yeah. And even his early work directly influenced everybody, influenced the Coens. They worked closely together for a while
too. Absolutely. So wonderful to see a living legend still making movies. The question is this a work of a master still at the top of his game? Or is it somebody who's washed up and whose best days are behind him? Devindra Hardawar, what did you think of Send Help?
Washed up. I see what you did there. I think this is classic Raimi. I think this is Raimi, maybe not at the very top of his game, but he's having a ton of fun, right? This feels like a bit like a vacation movie. Sam Raimi can make this movie in his sleep. And yet, Send Help is an absolute blast. I freaking loved this movie. I was so excited when I initially saw the premise. And I read the premise and I was like, starring Rachel McAdams. And I kind of like a little extra bit of glee there because she has not been in as many things lately. And she had such a great run in the 2000s and even the 2010s. But I think about the movie Red Eye quite a bit. One of Wes Craven's later films. Was it his actual last film? But I love that movie. And I always remember Rachel McAdams being tremendous in it and also being great in just about everything that she appeared in. Even, Game Night is often quoted, and now she's become a meme. The "oh no, he died" part from Game Night is everywhere. I love her. Loves to see her in a lead like this. And the setup of this movie is just great. Just a wonderfully fun setup, because who doesn't have a shitty boss or somebody who you feel like an outcast in an office environment or something. Great setup. So going into this, I was excited. I think the execution is fantastic. This is classic Raimi on many levels. It is really fast, direct filmmaking, kind of overcranked at times, but in ways that are fun. A lot of bodily fluids. You can't have a Raimi movie without bodily fluids. He's got that in there. And I saw this movie in not a crowded theater, but in a theater where people were on, they were with the movie. So people were reacting, walking out of this movie. There was a couple just going can you believe when this happened? And then, oh man, that happened. That is such a classic. This is why I love going to the movie theater with crowds, because it's a big, wild ride of a crowd pleaser. So yeah, I love this movie. I feel like at this point, Sam Raimi has earned the right to just make these wonderful little thrillers or horror movies whenever he wants. We don't talk enough about, was it Drag Me to Hell?
Drag Me to Hell,
which I think is a fantastic film as well. So let him make these little things. It doesn't always have to be an Oz movie or even a Marvel sequel. Let him make small things. I think he'll knock them out of the park.
Jeff Kanata, your thoughts on Send Help?
Well, Dave, I guess you could say my thoughts on Send Help are best summed up in the form of a limerick.
Let's hear it, Jeff.
A devilishly clever film script where the power dynamic is flipped. The concept is strong, but it stays over long, would have made a great Tales from the Crypt.
Wow. Weren't Tales from the Crypt half an hour long?
Yeah, yep. That's a pull.
Yep. I do think this feels like a Twilight Zone or a Tales from the. I mean, Tales from the Crypt is the perfect. It's the it feels like that. It feels stretched to me to fill the time, and the movie is not long, but it's feature length, and I don't think it deserved it. I really had a great time with this movie. I had so much fun. I totally echo so much of what Devindra said. I just am a little more critical on. I have some gripes, right? I don't think the end is great. I really don't. It bums me out. We'll talk about it in spoilers, but the end bums me out. And I think there are a few too many impediments to moving things along. It just feels like, okay, I get it. I know what we're doing, and we're having fun. We're having a great time. but it just felt like a half an hour anthology show idea stretched to 90 minutes. That said, I was cackling numerous times in this movie. It gives you that Sam Raimi, I'm laughing at something that is gruesome and horrific, but is hilarious. The thing that he does so well, that, Army of Darkness style, I shouldn't be laughing at this, but I'm laughing at this. It's a wacky movie in a lot of ways. It's kind of goofy at times too. It exists in a world that's a little bit cartoonish, right?
Mm-hmm. It's also like ripped out of the 80s, like the office environment, everything. It's very much like, you've seen this in movies before.
If Bugs Bunny got trapped on a desert island, he would, in 15 minutes, he would have an entire, palace created for himself. Well, Elmer Fudd would be still trying to knock two coconuts together. And that's kind of how this movie feels. It's got that like cartoon logic to it, which is really fun, but also strains to, last for me over its entire runtime. So, I'm a little more critical of it than Devindra, but I still I don't want to be too negative because it is very fun. And I think it's a good time at the cinema. You're going to be laughing. There's a number of times where I was like, oh, like that kind of thing. And with the audience,
Right.
it's a good time at the cinema. It just felt like it felt thin for me for its runtime.
Yeah, I had a really good time as well. I love this movie. I think I might be the biggest fan of this movie between the three of us. Even
I'm a pretty big. I have no complaints about this movie.
Well,
so yeah,
I thought it was a home run. But the one thing I would say I kept thinking about is, I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Triangle of Sadness, but it is extremely, it is extremely similar to that film in terms of its.
That is a superior movie on every single level, in my opinion.
It's a very different movie. Yeah,
it's a very different movie, right? This one stylistically is a very, very different film. This one wants to be more of like a horror exploitation movie almost, and that one is more
and straight up a comedy. Like this is clearly a comedy.
Right,
yeah.
right.
I think Triangle of Sadness was in my top 3 on my list the year it came out. I loved that movie.
Yeah, but essentially the question that movie asks and the question that this movie asks is like, if you are in modern society, civilization, we have all these institutions and structures that guide how we interact with each other. And what happens to our interactions when you remove all that? Like, what happens when it's just, can you survive? Can you make fire? Can you hunt meat? Can you pick fruit? Can you figure out how to save rainwater? Like when those are the things keeping people alive, who is actually in charge? How do those power dynamics play out? And that question, I think, is more interestingly explored in Triangle of Sadness than in this.
Sure.
What this movie has that movie doesn't is, number one, a lot of gross out bodily fluid comedy / horror. Number two, this kind of lead performances by these two actors, Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien. I think they do a great job selling who they are in their individual roles, and they have great chemistry with each other. And I think that that part is great in this film. Whereas Triangle of Sadness was more of an ensemble piece, and this one is more of a thriller than Triangle of Sadness. Right, this one is more of like there's twists. There's like, what's going to happen? In a way that I don't think was present in this other film. So this one is more of a thriller. It's more of like trying to keep you guessing until the very end. And so I had a lot of fun with this. I think it's just like, I think about this question with some amount of regularity of like, hey, the structures that we put in place in our society largely are arbitrary, right? And who gets to be in charge and who gets to have the money and the resources, it's largely arbitrary. They're not like it used to be in the olden days. It was like the people who were the strongest are the biggest. Now, sometimes it's who's smartest. Oftentimes people who are very stupid have lots of dollars. And so like returning us to a sort of time and place where that's not the case is, in my opinion, inherently interesting. And where the movie goes, does it actually have anything to say about that question? Doubtful. I don't know. We can talk about it.
It ends on a funny note more than anything.
Yeah.
I will say my one quibble with this movie it does try to de-beautify Rachel McAdams, make her a little frumpy. Impossible. You can't do it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I will not believe this.
It doesn't take. It literally doesn't take.
Yeah.
It literally doesn't take.
It
So.
doesn't-
she's the schlubby one that everyone doesn't like. I kept thinking I kept thinking what if you actually cast
yes
a the person that could play that, like, I don't mean to throw anybody under the bus, but what is that woman from the Office that was the side character from the Office?
Which one?
Who played Phyllis? You mean
Phyllis?
Yes.
What if
like a
Phyllis was the lead character of this movie? That now you're making a daring movie. Now you're making something actually interesting, in my opinion. Like, no, don't get me wrong.
Sure,
I will line up to see any Rachel McAdams anytime, all the time. But like, that would really be commentary if you actually cast like a Phyllis in this. You know,
I don't know that part is where the commentary is lacking. You know, let me put it that way.
I think the movie is self-aware enough to know, like, you're not buying this, right? It is a little cheeky. So much about this movie is a little cheeky. It's like, oh, we put a little mole on her, and now you think she's ugly. But I think Rachel McAdams does do things that actually I recognize in people who find themselves in this position in offices where she is so inward, like she's slumping. She's like, she is like not really standing up for herself in ways
to depict this frumpy character. I would agree with where I do agree with you, Jeff, is I do think the casting was not quite right on this character. Like, I think she does. Rachel McAdams does a great job. She's wonderful.
She's awesome in it. Yeah,
she's awesome.
She's great.
But like the character who they ask her to portray does not feel inhabited by Rachel McAdams as a person.
There's no amount of tuna fish that could make me not immediately fall in love with Rachel McAdams when I saw her across the room.
There's that. I mean, Kathy Bates made a whole career out of playing like that kind of character.
Yeah,
basically.
Kathy Bates.
That's Misery.
No, she'd be a great. She'd be a great casting choice for this. Young.
Kathy Bates in her like Misery. Prime,
yes,
right?
exactly.
I agree. I totally agree. But also, it almost feels like the movie is aware that this is not always going to be the thing, and I think it is saying something about how, like, listen, maybe we're all a bit of Rachel McAdams in us. You feel slumpy at work, right? Like, maybe you believe in yourself, and you could become an island warrior too. And also her in those island outfits. My goodness.
Well, I gotta say, it was a very funny experience for me watching this. As you guys might imagine, I had no idea what the premise of this movie was when I started watching it. And there's a scene very early on that has Rachel McAdams watching Survivor. And I was like, that is so weirdly specific.
Yeah.
Like, why is they showing her like curling up with a cup of coffee and her cat and watching Survivor? Like, it's such
what are the context clues for you going to this movie, Jeff? Because it is called Send Help. So
did you know
what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah. Do you when you see the poster at the theater, do you like
Jeff
avert your eyes from the
posters,
poster? Do you like avert your eyes from the poster? Is that how you do it?
I did not see the poster for this movie. It's not that I like. I went to a press screening, so there was no poster.
Well, often at the theaters, they have posters for upcoming films.
Often they do, but I didn't. I had not seen the poster for this. I wasn't specifically avoiding the poster for it, but I had just had no concept of what this was.
It is called Send Help. In what situation would you be sent that message? Send help.
It starts in an office, man. I didn't realize.
Sure.
When we get on the plane, I put two and two together, but it didn't. Immediately.
Yeah, I would agree. Send Help is not enough. But the poster, by the way, which I actually think is kind of spoilery, shows Rachel McAdams blood covered all over her and like with a
great
knife.
horror poster. Great.
Yeah, and it's like
looks fun.
That's a I don't even know that accurately represents the movie, to be honest with you. But anyway,
I mean, we get that. Yeah. We get that pretty quickly with her the boar sequence.
No, I know we get to that scene. I'm just saying, like, I don't know that that's the image that like represents the film for me. Regardless,
that's what I will remember. Where does this plane crash rank for you guys? Because I do like to think about how effective and how wild some cinematic plane crashes are. For me, whatchamacallit, Castaway. This is still like the tops in terms of how crazy and insane it feels. There have been a whole bunch. And this one it's funny because it does end up being like a Looney Tunes thing in terms of like when things are happening, who gets blown out, what actually happens to people.
It's great.
So Raimi just has so much fun with it. That's why I go to a Sam Raimi movie. Yeah.
I would say the most traumatizing plane crash I have ever seen in a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it has. When I watched it, I was like, this is so traumatizing, and nothing in my life I've ever seen has ever equaled this, and probably nothing ever will. And that would be J.A. Bayona's Society of the Snow, which is on Netflix.
That's a pretty good one. Yeah, we talked about that.
I was going to bring that one up too.
Yeah, it is one of the most upset. Like, it feels.
Yeah,
I have no idea how realistic it is, but it feels like extremely hyper realistic of how that would actually unfold. This one is good, and I will say this is the one plane crash where I was cackling through it because there's all these comedic beats during this plane crash.
It's so great.
That
the movie is really Sam Raimi unleashed. You know,
let him cook. That's all we need to do.
Yeah,
we'll get good movies.
It's like the only director that would have made this particular movie. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. All right, let's get the spoilers for Send Help starting right now. The opening plane crash. There's this scene where the guy gets his tie stuck on the plane door and his face is beaten up against the window, and then she kind of
he's like clawing to like give me your seat, give me your seat,
and then she kind of just gently closes the little visor, and it's like I was like laughing so hard at that. I will say it is kind of an odd experience watching movies in Portugal because I feel like I'm the only person laughing at a lot of the stuff that's going on the screen. I'm like, Robert De Niro in Cape Fear kind of thing, right? Where like, because like, maybe they're enjoying it in the translation, but I will say a lot of the visual gags of the visual humor in this film did hit for the whole audience that I was with.
The visual comedy will transcend everything. But I noticed that when I would see English movies in Taiwan too, going doing stuff there. Yeah,
it's like you laugh at it, and then like everyone reads the subtitles, and then they laugh at it. And that's how I often feel like I experience the movies here. But this one, it was like more everyone was kind of on the same page, which is lovely.
Doing CPR while vomiting on someone. That's so funny.
So. Sam Raimi must sit and just have like a whole notebook of ideas. Like, what have I not done yet? Yes, CPR plus vomit and that whole sequence. Oh man, yeah.
I did not find the movie to be too like a lot of people have said it's too long of a film. First of all, let me just tell you, after you've watched 18 Sundance movies, several of which are 2 hours long and should not be 2 hours long. It's like, this is
like a breath of fresh air.
This is a breath of fresh air. I'm like, oh wow, this is snappily paced. This is great. So I did not find it too long, but I will say it did take Dylan O'Brien's character a little bit too long to recognize something that my wife likes to call in reality the balance of power. It does. He has to learn that lesson like 3 to 4 times of like, hey, actually, you're completely helpless and you need to do everything Rachel McAdams says.
I do think he does a great job of playing that role. Like when we're introduced to him in the office, like he is just such a shitbag, like such a shitbag. And it's like in a way, it's like, oh yeah, I know that guy, or I've worked for that guy. I really liked him in Twinless recently too.
Yeah, he was great. Movie. He's great. In the movie,
But yeah, like he does such a good job of portraying that. It is not surprising at all to me that dumbass would go to the island and like assume the world still worked the way it would for him. So I bought that.
I bought that initially. I just think it's like,
it takes him a while.
It takes like a multiple try. What after she leaves him for like a day and then he's like dying.
Great sequence of him like scoffing. And
I love the camera
that pan
sliding past him like multiple times. That was wonderful.
She waits till he's fully dehydrated. Great.
Also, I'm just gonna say, I think a lot of the stuff that happens at the beginning of the film is very realistic of someone like Rachel McAdams being unsung and not getting credit and all the good old boys club, like them,
my wife
getting all the credit.
I came home and was like, honey, you need to see this movie. It's about you.
So there's a lot of good stuff there. I will say, in general, it's a bad idea to go into a meeting with a presentation that you didn't make and the person who made it is not in the meeting. Because
that's really bad.
Yeah, because it's just
hurt me.
It's almost like only an asshole would do that.
No. It's not even asshole. It's like that is actually potentially bad for your career because, at least at the jobs I've worked, when you go into a meeting like that and they ask you a follow-up question, if you do not have an answer for that, if you're like, oh, I gotta go look that up, like that is really bad for you. Like,
no, I think what we're supposed to glean is that he would bullshit his way through that question and answer.
I think that's it.
That guy who's I agree, Mr.
Yeah, but what breaks my heart about that scene is that she sees it. She sees him remove her name and dump it and go in. And I feel like at that point, you kind of feel for that character. It's like, oh man, have some self-respect. Or at
I
least
guess I'm
just
just
go and
saying,
go and be like, I guess I'm invited to this meeting, right? Yeah.
Put your
Yeah,
name on it. That's not a sticky note. How about
Yeah,
that?
it's not a
You know,
sticky
I
note.
agree. All that's very accurate. I'll just say at some companies, what that guy did would not go very well.
I hear you.
But we're not in the real world here. You know,
This company is like an 80s
Yes.
office or
Yes,
a 90s
yes.
office.
Fair,
This is not
fair.
today.
It's
Yeah,
caricature.
okay.
Even
It's
to what
all
they're wearing.
exaggerated.
All
Like
right,
her,
all right. You
yeah.
don't want me
Her-
to
I
bring
love
the
her asshole
verisimilitude
colleague.
on the office politics. I get it. That's fine.
it is evoking a specific time frame. Her asshole colleague, by the way, is dressed exactly like what's his face from
Patrick
American
Bateman,
Psycho,
right?
like
Yeah.
Patrick Bateman.
Yeah.
Like total vibes there. So I love the setup. It is so cartoonish, but it also immediately makes you feel empathetic for this character. It's like, girl, stand up for yourself. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Just step into that meeting. You know that presentation. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I felt like, other than that one thing I just said, everything about how it was depicted was actually pretty realistic.
Yeah.
And including her actions, because she thinks that like stuff is promised to her. And it would make sense for her to rely on
life lessons from this movie. Get it in writing.
Yeah.
If somebody promises you a
Always.
promotion,
Absolutely.
get that in writing.
Devindra, you and I are on the same exact page.
Your
on that one.
presentations, those go through an email chain where your superiors are also there, so they see who did the work. Stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Literally things
Okay,
that would make the movie not happen. You know,
That's right.
exactly.
Why-
Exactly. if she had a backbone.
Well,
yeah.
Jeff, you've never brought those up before on this podcast.
Fair point.
So
The thing I want to bring up though is the ending, not the very, very ending, which I think is fun, but
Mhm.
the like, you know, the climax of the plot
in the
which
house.
bums me out because I hate that even right at the very end, she's ready to fall in love with him and is like wants to be in love with him. I hate that. I hate it.
I did not
wish-
like that subplot of the film. I agree. It didn't
I
feel.
I
right
thought
to
it was
me.
fine as a setup of like, you know, her sort of fantasy of I'm gonna get the promotion and also he's single. Like I didn't have any problem with that.
Mhm.
But like at a certain point, she is shown over and over what kind of person this is. And I hate that she's still on the hook for him. Like it would have created a dynamic if she had been using that on him at the end. You know, like she had been toying with him in a romantic
I think she
sense.
kind of was. She was.
Well, but at the very last moment, until she sees that he's gonna stab her with the horn,
Yeah.
she's ready to make it all be okay.
I think
and
you're
let
right.
them
I
live
think you're right.
on the island forever. And I
but
hated
also,
that.
even in that case, she's the one in control. She is the one in power, right? He is her little underling. He would be her little sexual underling or whatever. But you know, I like the beats of the movie where it kind of leans into that. The whole thing is like, oh, I'm gonna castrate you now. That whole sequence, great misery vibes in that sequence. Dylan O'Brien freaking out, the blood, it's all good. But I think the key is, even if like, first of all, he's the only other warm body in this island too. So like, if she really wants to survive here, it's like, okay, at least you should have this dude as your sex pot, whatever. But at least she's in charge there. It didn't feel like she emotionally was like, oh yeah, I actually love him. You know, I didn't feel like a romantic.
I'm with Jeff on this. I don't know that she's like in love with him, but I think she is in that moment still.
She likes their life together.
Yeah, she still likes the idea of them staying on the island together.
Yes.
Right, whether or not she's like in love with him, whatever. And I agree with you, Jeff, because she has just confessed to murdering his fiance.
Right.
You know, and does she really think that he's gonna want to be with her in that moment? Like it just strains all credulity.
I never thought that she was buying any of it. Strategy and planning, bitch. Like there you go. Like she was always like one step ahead of him, even down to the whole gun thing, right?
Yeah.
I did like the fact that there was, you know, all of the amenities you could want right around the corner.
Hilarious.
The whole time. It's very funny.
But he is
Very
so
funny.
stupid. It was like, where do you think a knife like that would wash up from? From a plate?
Yeah.
Somebody
I am
had
glad
their luggage?
I'm glad they paid that off though. That was
They
nice.
paid that off perfectly, but also shows what an idiot he is to even think like, where did you get that? That knife is a big deal. That knife is like, you know, a lifeline to her and to him at some point. Probably should have thought a little harder about that. Maybe you should have explored more of the island too. Like there were so many things. They were there for months.
I would have liked them to actually make an even bigger deal of the house in that I would have loved to have found out that she would just go there and relax for a while, or like some of the preposterous things that she was supposed to have made. I wish we had seen that she only was able to do that because she went to this house to make that, like
we do see her like consuming fruit euphorically, that was pretty good.
That's right where she gets a lot of the fruit and she brings it back to him.
Yeah. Because there's so many moments in this where we are in like cartoon territory of like, I made the drinks with the little umbrellas in them. It's like, you would never go to that length on, if you're, it's exaggerated for effect and works, but I would have loved for that to be then justified. Sorry.
I'm glad it doesn't betray her expertise, because the whole thing about this movie is that she is somebody who has idolized the survivor life, right? She has like read the stuff, maybe trained on it, studied it, but she did not realize she could actually do a lot of these things. So when she makes fire for the first time, she's like, I did it. It's actually working. Her whole, like everything she is trained for is actually working. And that's where she finds her self-confidence and her belief in herself. So I'm glad that we didn't see like something from the house, just like did it at the end. That's where she got the backpack from or something, right?
Yeah.
I mean, here are some thoughts on the ending of this film. Number one,
great smash cut, by the way. Great smash cut of the year.
To the golf, and which is, by the way, the sport that she was given a hard time for not playing at the beginning of the movie. I appreciate the moral order of the film. Like,
sure,
because the idea is that he has basically he's Dylan O'Brien's character is basically going to destroy Rachel McAdams' character's life. Like, he's going to extract as much value as he can from her and then lay her off and put her in a terrible spot. So like, does he deserve to get murdered? You could make the argument. His fiance is probably innocent, but like, does he deserve to get murdered for that? You could make the justification. I don't think it's like too out there. So I am fine with like the moral order and the way the movie ends and stuff like that.
Except
like,
that's she would have liked to. I would have liked to have seen her realize that she doesn't need him at all, even earlier.
Yeah. Well, I was going to bring up a different issue, which I think is I don't think she goes evil enough. Right? There's this scene where. Which I think is really well done, with like fiance is dangling over the side, and then you see like she's trying to figure out what to do, and then it cuts to she just shows up at Dylan O'Brien's camp, and then she's very upset, and she looks at it. Then we see that scene again later on, played, but we see all the details that we missed, and she's like looking at her hands, and she's like, "What have I done?" But then by the end of the movie with Dylan O'Brien, she's already gone cuckoo, basically. You know what I mean? Like she is already out of her mind at the end of the film. And so it was, let me just put it this way, it was a little hard for me to track her mental journey. She goes from kind of a very reasonable individual who is taking reasonable actions of like, oh, I don't know if I should let this person live, because if I let them live, then Dylan O'Brien's going to leave and then my life will be destroyed and blah, blah, blah. Like, that's a reasonable question to have, versus, oh, I'm going to kill everyone and Dylan O'Brien can be together forever on this billionaire's house. It's like, oh, you're just gone mentally. Like that transition happens really fast, I think.
I never felt like she actually fully believed that, but
yeah, okay, fair. But anyway,
I thought all of the stuff all of the stuff on the cliffside played very pulpy for me.
Yes. Oh yeah,
very pulpy. It's like
that's such a set, that whole location.
Yeah. And dangling over this, and even the fact that like the guide and the fiance are like, oh, is it just around this bend over here, around this precarious like half a foot? I would be, I think any rational person in that situation would be a little nervous to walk that path at all. It just none of it plays.
They would never expect that. Yeah,
I do have to give a shout out to the fight that Dylan O'Brien and Rachel McAdams have before she flees. That was awesome. Like the part where he shoves his thumb into her eye, I was like, oh, this is so uncomfortable, but in a good way. I'm like, oh, like I like that Raimi. He's like pushing the boundaries of what's acceptable visually, and I'm just like, oh, like I'm so uncomfortable, and her eyes all messed up after that. Anyway, I just shout out to that moment, because it's rare that a movie can make you like feel so squeamish like that, and I appreciated that.
He still got it. He still got it.
He still got it.
He still got it.
Let him have fun. The final ending sequence, by the way, I thought I cackled through that whole thing because it's so okay. She's like, okay, I guess I got to play golf. I guess I got to do this bullshit to be successful. Fine, I'll do it. But also there's a great sense of like self-empowerment through that too. It's super cheesy, but it works. It is.
I
so
like
good.
that she has the little bird cage in
Got
the
the
car
little bird.
afterwards.
Yeah,
So she's totally made it. She's totally made it by the
she's
end.
made it.
Yeah.
I mean, it reminded me of what's the Zoe Kravitz movie that she directed. I loved
Blink Twice, I think is what
Blink Twice. It reminded me of not to spoil the end of Blink Twice, but it reminded me of that.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, we won't
like
say what happens at the end of that movie.
But it's also like
some
we all
similar
remember
vibes. Let's say
similar vibes. We all remember the end of Drag Me to Hell, and I also feel like Raimi has the power to be like, oh, I will destroy you, audience. I will take away the main character from you if I want to, if I think it's funny enough. And he didn't do it this time, but I like that he has the power. I always think back to Drag Me to Hell and how wild that ending was.
All right. Well,
by the way,
Mhm.
just real quick side note, I've been thinking about Blink Twice so much lately with all this Epstein stuff coming out.
Yeah.
It's like, man, that movie, you're like, oh, man, it's hard thing to justify in a movie. Say, oh no, that's the tame version of what really would
like when you watch Blink Twice, you think, oh, this is really over the top.
Yeah,
what you're
it's like,
seeing.
Would they really create this kind of really?
That seems ridiculous.
Oh, no,
but no, yeah,
no, it's kind of how it is.
It was a much more sophisticated, robust operation.
Yeah.
I mean, for one thing, I think all the characters in Blink Twice knew how to write a coherent sentence via email.
I also think about the Joaquin Phoenix movie You Were Never Really Here too. Like, yes, we have had many examples of that.
Yeah. All right. Well, at the end of the day, it is extremely impressive that Sam Raimi made a movie and continues to make movies, and we hope he continues for many years to come.
Woo!
What an awesome filmmaker. And we are grateful for movies like Send Help. Thank you so much for watching this video of the Filmcast. Check out these other videos that we have available, and be sure to hit like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to get other videos from us in the future.
You can also go to thefilmcast.com to catch all of our audio podcast versions of all of our episodes.
And support this podcast at patreon.com/filmpodcast, where you can sign up for ad-free episodes and exclusive After Darks.
Thanks so much to everyone who makes the Filmcast possible.